I'm Jennifer and I am the designer at Porcelynne, and I'm here to share kind of an exciting new pattern I've been working on actually since January. So this is 10 months in the making. This has gone through lots and lots of revisions, and I'll make sure to show you those at the end of this video. But I want to show you on my dress form so you can see what the style lines are. So the samples I made are all in my size, so they don't photograph as good flat. But I do want to show you, this is the Infinity Bra. And my testers actually helped me come up with the name because they like the style line that it looks like infinity. And plus there are 3 different cup shape options for it. So we have the rounded shape, which this is the rounded shape, which is good for, so let's say you fit into a bra right off the rack. This is actually a good shape for you. The roots are in proportion to the body, so it's not a really wide set, but it's not really narrow either, so it's actually kind of just average. Now, the projected one is very similar to this, although we have a little bit more flatness on the side and a little bit more projection in the front. So the root is still about the same width. In general, I believe the rounded cup has the longest wire lines, so that would probably be the widest set of the 3. Now the third one, which I actually developed kind of actually just last week, we've discovered that there were several of my testers that were still having a lot of issues fitting into the projected or the rounded because they really needed a smaller wire line. So they needed the cup to be more narrow. So they have a really narrow breast root, which means that the root may be over here, but then they have a lot of projection in the middle. So that is the third shape that I developed. And that shape I'm calling the narrow omega shape. So there are definitely options for you. And actually in the projected cup, which is one that I actually did for myself originally, I sometimes have difficulties fitting into really any type of bra. Because even though my measurements show that I'm wider here than under here, this is all breast tissue. So it all goes into the cup, but I actually need a really narrow top cup. For the projected shape, I actually did 3 different options for the top cup. Now this is really just so I could fit into it without any alterations, but there were some individuals that actually needed to use either the wider neck or the narrow neck. The Infinity Bra is designed to be used either as a wireless bra or with a monowire. So let's take a look at the table. So this is my sample. And you can see I do not put a wire in here, but I have my wire here. And I wanted to show you that I had to bend this wire significantly. You can see how bent it is. And this one actually probably needs a little bit more bending to really fit in my body. So I need to kind of have this part come out and this part come in. So you can really mold your wire to how you need it to shape on your body. That's what's really cool about these monowires. So for the Infinity Bra, the monowires that I'm recommending are the ones that fit best into the length of the casing. So some of you may need something a little bit narrower and some may need a little bit wider. So as long as the length works, then you can really come in here and modify and change your shape to however you need it. So if you need it to be a little bit more narrow, you can do that. So there's a lot of flexibility with the wire. So here is the inside of my bra. So you can see that I have, kind of a traditional band, but it's attached here at the casing. The casing is all the way around the cups. This one I am not doing any wire in because I actually didn't want the wire in there. And this fits really nicely without the wire. I also put a piece of boning in here, which is optional, that you can use to help keep the shape up if you have some collapsing in the front. This one I also did asymmetrically. So this side over here is the N, and this one over here is the L. So I have 2 different cup sizes. I actually did a full online course, including going through how to make a fit sample to test, and how to make the corrections, as well as how to completely sew this fully lined from start to finish. I know you don't always get to see the progress and see how a pattern changes over time. And this one I have been working on since January, so that is 10 months I've been working on this. So this one has had a lot of changes. So I'm going to show you on the table exactly where it started. And of course, I started my original design on my dress form, and she has a very, very different shape than I do. So I started them with her with a concept, and then I graded it up to my size. And when I got it to my size, I realized that I cannot do the same things I can do on her. Now, I really do like the original design, so there is a slight possibility I might be able to go back and make a small range cup for them. But because I can't offer the whole range in the original design, I might not do it. I might make one for my daughter, who knows. But you can always let me know if you really like it, and maybe I will release it in probably up to about an F cup. I don't think anything bigger than that would work really well. So let's take a look at the table again. This was the design number 1. Of course, you can't really see. Actually, no, this is not design number 1. No, it was. Actually, there was a version before this. Of course, you can't really see. I tried to do kind of like this little crisscross looking thing. And actually the other one, the next one, so this was version 1, and I'll skip that because you can't really see that on camera. This was version 2. So you can see the seam lines a little bit better. I was trying to do something where you could kind of look and see kind of a weaving detail. And this was cute. I had this little clear strap up here, and then I was going to have this crisscross band. And it worked on my dress form, who doesn't have any skin. So it makes it kind of easy. And then I graded it up to my size. And this one, this was probably not even the first one that I graded up to. I put foam in here as well because I realized that in order to keep the shape, I really needed to have a little bit more stability. But I was still trying to do this with a stretch fabric. So these ones are both stretch. This is a stretch fabric, but the cup was going to stabilize it a little bit. So you can see this is when I decided, okay, no, I need to do some lines in here. I need to turn this into a V shape. And so I started drawing in here and kind of figuring out exactly where the armhole needed to be. You can see right here. This is where the wire line needed to be. So it was coming down. This cup was a little bit too big. Okay, it progressed. It then became a long line bra. And I did some boning on the side with a band here. I wanted to do some fun detail at the center back. But this just caused a lot of pain on me. You can see here I still just had one piece on the bottom. I took it in on the top. And this one I actually had switched to a stable fabric. So this was fully lined. And this piece was stable. But I really like the idea of the fold over around the edges because you can do a little bit more. So this is where I had sewn it. It was too tight. It hurt my ribs. So I took it apart and played around a little bit more with it. The next version, very similar. And I actually kept it with the long line trying this out again. I decided to try and make, this is where I had this separate little piece in here. And I added some more seam lines in here. So this is where I came up with the 3 pieces on the bottom. And so you can see at the top is still one big piece here with the diamond. I decided to just chop this off. And this was when I kind of came up and said, hey, you know what, this actually kind of fits without having the band down here. So I played around. I did one with the band. As you can see, there is a lot of these. I did one with the band again, and I had kind of spread it out, but it wasn't right. It was still putting too much pressure on my rib cage. You can see I still just have one piece here, but I did have this little sheer bit up there. Okay, getting on. This is where I decided, and you can't quite see my Sharpie lines, this is where I decided that I needed to come and add the seam here for this cup. And at this point, I was now resolved that I was going to have the band just attached to the casing. Okay. Oh, and actually this one might have been the one I did my tutorial on, because it's a little bit easier to see than the other one. I forgot I had this one. So this is one that I had actually done after I made this sample because I was starting to test and I needed to make sure that I had all of the instructions done for how to do this. So the band has gotten narrower on here, but this ended up changing. I ended up increasing this a little bit more. I had narrowed the neckline too much, and this was when I kind of came up with that cup, the narrow top cup for the projected. And I also have a lot of rotation on my body, so it ends up fitting like this, so a lot different than most people. But I wasn't done yet. This was actually in the fitting video, so this is one I worked on after making all the changes, after doing this pretty one. This is the one that actually I used in my fitting videos for the online course. And this is where I address my asymmetry, where my center of the neckline is and where the center of the neckline sat on me. Then I get to this one. This has the asymmetry, so I have 2 cup sizes larger on this one than on this side, and then the band has gotten a lot bigger. So this was with the projected cup, and then I made this pretty one. So this one looks really nice. I'm gonna have my husband photograph me at some point soon in some of these pretty bras. And then I've actually, because I came up with the other shapes after I had originally done the projected, I did one in the round cup. And so this one, this is the round cup, and I accidentally sewed the wrong side to the wrong side. So I will show you this one in one of the fitting videos on how this one looks different. Actually, yeah, this one's the round one. So I'll show you how this one looks different from the other one, as well as how the narrow projected one also looks on me. In this one, I also sewed upside down and backwards. So this one I kind of caught it before I finished the hooks and eyes. This one I didn't catch it until after the hooks and eyes are attached. So this one I will have to try on inside out. And that's really how the progression happened of the Infinity bra. I hope you enjoy it, and make sure to check out the course that goes with it. I do have a 20% discount on it in the meantime. So I've just launched a new YouTube membership option. So I have actually phased out my Patreon. It became just too much for me to handle between the Patreon and the YouTube, but YouTube was doing something similar. So I decided to set up a couple different subscription levels, or membership levels as they call them. You will actually have access to specific courses at different times of the year. It may not be the whole course all at once. So for some months, I'll be dropping some portions of courses, and other months I might be dropping an entire course. So definitely check it out. I do have the schedule through April set for what is going to be available on each month. So I hope you enjoy the pattern, and I wish you have a wonderful week.